Hello and welcome back to the Weird and Proud podcast. It's your host, Luke Skywalker. And
Was that your version of a Jedi voice?
yeah, did it sound good?
Did you not do your research on what Luke Skywalker sounds like?
No, but what does Leia sound
You
like?
sound a little
James?
more like Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Oh, okay.
who I think is a very appropriate character for even your hair, because Obi-Wan kind of has, he's gray, but blonde, gray hair,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
The wig is perfect for Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
but
That's what I was going
Obi-Wan,
for.
like, fits what you're doing. And Obi-Wan and Leia were on a lot of, like, adventures as well. So
What who's which one's the siblings?
Luke and Leia
Okay, so we're siblings.
were twins, actually.
Twins.
Yes.
We kind of are giving twins.
We're giving twin
Don't
vibes.
they like make out though?
They do. I think he does kiss her in one of the episodes. There is one, but they don't know
Scandalous.
they're brother and sister yet.
Right.
You
That's the
see
earlier one.
what was finds out in the earlier one. So an old guy like me, when you never saw the earlier ones, they didn't
Yep.
exist, right?
Right.
And they find out later. It's like one of those odd
Like,
movie
oh
moments.
my god. Yeah.
But then, of course, you find out Darth Vader is Luke's father, and then it's like, wow. And you do find
Yeah.
out they're sisters in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Right? Brother and
That's
sister. You find out all
so
that.
funny. If you couldn't tell, we are in costume.
May the force be with you.
And if you're not watching this, wow, we feel bad.
If you're wondering, yeah, I didn't think about that. If you're wondering why we're talking about Star Wars,
Yes. Come
now's
check out the YouTube.
or at least go to the Instagram page.
Yeah.
Well,
You can
no,
check
do the
out.
YouTube.
Yeah, or I mean whatever, but you might have seen we have our Halloween costumes on. It's a Halloween episode. So this comes out on Monday, October 30th. So, I figured we'd make a little special Halloween.
I mean, all the TV shows that are on certain days have to have their episode. My
Right.
absolute favorite Halloween show, not movie, but show of all time, will forever and always be The House of Horrors by The Simpsons. And they have to do it on a Thursday. The Simpsons comes out on Thursday, right? So they had to do it on Thursday no matter what. Sometimes they were on Sunday, so they had to do the House of Horrors, right? The Treehouse of Horrors.
Okay, I don't know what any of that means,
What?
but yeah,
Oh,
I'm not a Simpsons girl, James.
true.
Those were
We'll watch one of those.
Yeah.
They're great.
So we have our Halloween costumes on, and yeah, you're missing the slit in James' dress. Like, James is looking
I got a little leg going.
You got a little leg going. He's in a gorgeous dress.
Should we tell the people listening who I am? Oh, I think I said I'm Leia already.
Yeah, James is Princess Leia because he's a princess, and he has a gorgeous little number on. The gorgeous buns, the iconic buns.
Iconic for sure.
And it is it's hard to look at you without laughing because the buns are so big. Like, they are like really aggressively large.
They're out there. I think that's good, especially like, say that you do a typical Halloween thing where you go to a party or you go to a bar and everyone's looking at everyone and there's trying to figure out like
what it is. Yeah.
The faster you can get identified, right?
Yeah.
Like, if they saw just your costume,
right, they might be like, what are
even
you?
a Star Wars nerd would take a second.
Yeah. Well, I know I was trying to find the right wig, but like it's hard to find.
Oh no, you look just like a Jedi. You literally look just like Obi-Wan. Like, the outfit is just like it.
Obi-Wan, yeah.
But even a Star Wars nerd, there's so many costumes, your brain doesn't right away go.
And there's
Jedi.
so many of them now.
Yeah.
Like, that was the other thing too. I was like trying to find like a good, sound that we can use for.
You picked the right one.
Well, it's like there's with all the new ones are the new hot thing.
Yeah,
everyone's talking about. But
that also gives a Qui-Gon.
What's a Qui-Gon?
Liam Neeson played Qui-Gon. He was another Jedi in the Phantom Menace and the prequels.
Got it. Yeah, it's this is what compromise looks like, because James is obviously a big Star Wars fan.
What?
No. And James, always is like, we should do something Star Wars. We should do something nerdy. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it if
I had to be Leia.
If you're Leia.
Did not hesitate to agree to this.
And it was perfect because Prue was Baby Yoda. Or Yoda. I mean, I guess, I don't know.
It's more so just Yoda.
Because Yoda is the same. It's just the baby version of Yoda. Oh, it's a
No,
different
it's
Yoda?
a different Yoda. A lot of
Oh.
people misconstrue that,
What
but that's
ki- what
okay.
what species is Yoda? Do
I
they
do
ever
you
say?
ooh, this is a good this is a really good nerd
Trivia
question.
question?
It's covered in the books,
Okay.
but I personally don't
If
know.
there's like a species
There
name for what
is, yeah.
Yoda is.
George Lucas and the Star Wars brand has covered all of that, and they've hired multiple writers to create other stories
Right, right, right.
even before Disney bought it. So now everything's on Disney.
Right.
Even before Disney, there were like Star Wars approved books out there, and I had friends that used to read all of
What
them.
came first, the books or the
No,
movies?
Star Wars.
Oh, oh, right, of
So
course. Yeah, yeah,
George
yeah, I knew that.
Lucas, actually, George Lucas was writing and wanted to produce Indiana Jones, and Raiders of the Lost Ark
Oh,
was
yeah,
his
yeah,
dream
yeah. Oh
movie
my
to
god.
do.
Also another. That one I like that.
That's George
That
Lucas.
reminds me a
It's
lot of
the same.
childhood.
He wrote both of them. How good of a movie guy is
Yeah.
he?
Oh, we should watch those.
Yeah, anytime, no hesitation
Yeah.
here.
We need to see the new one. That
No
reminds
shit.
me.
No shit,
We got to see if
Sherlock.
that's still out. If
Yeah.
that's out or if it's out
I
yet.
haven't seen it. Oh, I check Disney Plus all
Do
the time.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
I know that was one that
You
we
can
wanted to
rent
say.
it, I think, still, but
Wow. I haven't heard much about it, like if it was good though. Like I never heard
it's
any.
Indiana Jones. It's good. I could care
Okay.
less what anyone else has to
You know,
say.
that would be a fun costume too.
100%.
If like
Well,
I was the kid and
we
you were the
we discussed that would have been an interesting because
yeah.
you said that your favorite Indiana Jones is the Temple of Doom, right?
Yes,
You like
yes.
Temple
That
of
one
Doom?
I just remember like I will never forget there are two moments I will never forget from that. When the heart gets ripped out
Oh yeah.
and when she has to stick her hand in the bugs to get like the
Oh, the
key.
bug scene. Those are two like super. So a lot of movie nerds, that movie sometimes got bashed because it was so different from the first one.
Oh,
And then the
really?
third one comes out
And it's crazy.
and it's similar, so similar to the first one. Like
Oh,
the
that it didn't
first one
have
and the
enough
third
of
one
the
is almost a
craziness.
continuation. They
Huh.
made the second one so dark. I love the second one, but it's just interesting from a nerd
Well, yeah, and I
perspective.
just remember because I
Yep.
remember watching as a kid. I'm like, oh my god, this is so
It
scary.
was way different than the
Yeah,
first
it was
one.
way scarier.
Mhm.
So funny. Wow. Sorry for that little bit of a off
I'm
topic.
not sorry at all. I could do this all day.
We've had a lot of fun. We always Halloween's one of my favorite.
Should we talk about who was almost Indiana Jones other
Who?
than Harrison Ford?
Oh, I remember talking about this, but I can't remember who it was. Who was it?
Tom Selleck.
Oh my god, that's so
Because George
funny.
Lucas didn't want Harrison Ford because he felt he was too typecast. But he had
Mm,
nobody to read the part of Indiana Jones. And he said, hey, Harrison, who was already Han Solo, and they were already working on the third Star Wars movie,
too
he
funny.
said, yep. And he said, hey, could you just read the part? And he was so good. And then Tom Selleck came and read, and they're like, we want you, Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck turned it down to do this
Shut
series.
up.
He did. He turned it down because, especially back then, series of shows, you got paid way more to do like a 10 episode series.
Yeah.
And it was the show Magnum PI,
Huh.
which he became
How do you
famous for.
know all of this random shit?
So you think you
Oh.
know about me as a nerd, right? I can tell you where this one comes from. This one does, being an old guy, comes from the extra features on the DVD and special edition cassette tapes,
Because you would always
VHS
watch.
that I bought.
Yeah.
Every minute I would watch them from start to finish to make sure I didn't miss anything.
It like blows my mind sometimes the random ass shit that you remember
That's
and know
why
from life.
Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones.
Too funny. Interesting, James. Thank you for that little tidbit.
God, I was hoping we got to that.
Yeah, so we love Halloween, obviously. A lot of really fun things coming up. Halloween's this week. And it also was just like the start of like an amazing couple months to come. I love fall. I mean, who doesn't love fall? Um, we have Halloween, obviously, kicks it off. Then my birthday is November
Your
16th.
birthday's coming up?
I know. And we're going to Fiji.
And it's football season.
Right. That's definitely one of my top reasons.
Had to sneak that in too.
And then, it's Thanksgiving and then it's Christmas. So it's like, it's kind of just like jam packed with fun things. And we always travel in November. I feel like
Yes.
once a year, like we have our leisure travel. Obviously, we travel a lot for shows and for content stuff. And, but this is like a real vacation, like where it's like, we don't have to, I mean, obviously we're gonna be filming content.
There's gonna be content.
There's gonna be content, but like it's not like we're forced to do anything or like we have to do certain things or we have shows to worry about. This is like really our first vacation this year where we're going somewhere that we can just kind of hang out
I
and
was thinking about that when I was putting in for time off from my work. I was like, we've traveled some, but besides going to see family or
yeah, either
work,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's
we
either family, work, or like content stuff or shows. When I say work,
yeah, we really
shows.
haven't taken that. Let's go on. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. So this makes it very exciting.
Yeah. So, and we leave on Monday the 6th. So I think what we might do too, obviously we'll record a podcast before we leave, but I might bring our stuff again
Why
and
wouldn't you?
do.
We should do a Fiji podcast. Of
Yeah. Well, I
course.
was going to say, and I'm going to bring the camera this time too.
I was expecting you to bring all that.
Yeah. So that we can do it with video. So you guys can and we'll do like a full tour and
Yeah.
chat about all the
I
things.
thought that we'd already decided that, even though we didn't talk about
we
it.
didn't, yeah, but
We're Jedi. We're Jedis,
we're Jedis.
so we can talk like that.
Right. We know.
Exactly.
We know. So yeah, so just like lots of exciting things, but um to get into the episode finally 10 minutes later, we do have a great episode for you guys. We have obviously Halloween themed episodes. So we've got some kind of like some weird like facts about Halloween that like I didn't know, and I'm a Halloween fanatic. Like I feel like I know a lot of the facts.
Outside of the deliciousness of Thanksgiving, Halloween is your favorite
Yeah,
holiday.
I would say. I know Halloween might be my favorite. I mean, it's hard now because obviously as an adult it's so different. But like growing up as a kid, like Halloween was always my favorite.
We've gone back and forth at this because we do both enjoy I like Thanksgiving is always
Thanksgiving
wonderful.
is of course like I feel like the best. Of course Christmas too, but Christmas is just like I don't know. It's always sometimes anticlimactic Christmas, but I do love Thanksgiving. But Halloween to me is my favorite. I love the spooky shit, obviously. So we have some fun little like weird, not like news, but like weird facts around Halloween. And then of course we have the secrets this week, which are gonna be Halloween edition, spooky story edition.
You know what I think is about
Weird
Halloween? Just a
What?
comment. I think that it brings out that childlike thing
It
we have in all of
does.
us.
Yes.
It brings out that inner child if you embrace it.
Yes.
Some
And
people can be like, "Ooh, I don't like Halloween."
right.
Find your inner
Yeah,
kid.
I know. Which is like I hate that idea that like people really are like, grow up. Like it's like
No, this is the point.
no, that's the point of life is just like to be silly and carefree and young forever.
Be a little childlike, yes.
Yeah, and like always like going back to your inner child is like one of the best things to do as an adult.
And it's so much fun to make costumes sometimes. Not that we made
I know,
these,
but it's
but in
even
the
just
past,
like thinking
I
of
like
it
making
and
I start
yeah.
thinking. I usually drop Halloween costume ideas on you in
like
around May.
spring.
Yeah,
early
usually
spring.
April, May.
Probably like by next week you'll be like,
April, May. After. Oh yeah, as
Yeah.
soon as this year's done, I'll start thinking about next year.
Yeah. And I am wearing like this Karen, like the wig that I have on is like a Karen wig, and so I feel like it is a little.
My head is
suspect.
baking in this.
I know
Leia
the
wig.
wigs.
I'm
are
keeping it
so
on
annoying,
though. It's totally
but
worth it.
yeah. So anyway, so we have a great episode, and before we get into it too, life update. Oh my god, can you see Prue right now? She looks like she's dead. Oh, we already said Prue was baby yoga. Something that was so fun. Obviously, last episode we left off that we were in Wisconsin, and we get home. Well, actually, the night before we left,
Yep.
literally the night before we were going home, the cat sitter who we have people who stay at our house, and that's like just like honestly the most cost effective way to do it because we have so many friggin' animals. Like to board all of them would be so expensive, and people always ask that too. Like, what do you do with your animals when you're gone? We have like a couple people that we really trust.
It's nice to have a house. It's like a house sitter. It's great.
Yeah, and we have someone that stays at our house, which is amazing. And then we feel like the house is safe and the animals are comfortable. But our pet sitter, texted us the night before we left and was like, there's 4 inches of water in your basement. I heard water rushing, and I went in your basement, and it's completely flooded. And it turns out our water heater broke.
Almost like not exploded, but a pipe completely burst.
And so that was fun to come home to. So that was literally what we came home to. And now it's like we have to replace the entire heating system in our house, basically, because our house is old. Like, that's one thing. Like, I honestly, like, going back to things, Halloween, I always wanted a house too, like in a neighborhood. Like, I do love where we live. I love our little neighborhood because also we get lots of trick or treaters.
Yes, we do.
And of course, I love dressing up the house
I
and
feel like we've
decorating.
got a lot of new kids in the
We
area. I
do a
feel like
lot of
more families have
kids.
moved in the last year or two.
Yeah, it's become very family friendly.
I think we'll
So
get a
we have a
lot of trick or
lot of
treaters this year.
kids and a lot of trick or treaters. That's also one of my favorite parts is handing out candy to the trick or
Are you
treaters.
gonna dress up in your ghillie suit
I know
and
I might
scare
have
people
to. We didn't
tomorrow?
do that again this year,
Yeah.
but I might have to. But we have this old house. It's like, I mean, this house was built in 1908. Talk about creepy stuff. This house built in 1908, and it was funny when we first moved in here too. I thought this house was
You
haunted.
wanted it to be haunted so bad.
I kind of did. And there were a couple things that happened like when we first moved into this house. Obviously it's really old, so that's hence why we have to like replace everything. Um but when we first moved in, like there were just like some things like I remember, of course I know you could probably say like, well, I either left it on or you probably left it on, but I we had both gone to sleep and I knew I had turned the basement lights on
Oh,
off,
the basement. I remember these discussions.
and I
Absolutely.
come downstairs and like all the lights, the basement lights were on and lights downstairs were on, and I was like, I swear on my life I turned those off. Like I remember turning them off. And like so there was stuff like that was happening, and I remember I like did this like ceremony where I got sage and like walked around the house, and one of my friends is like a medium psychic girl. Well, I have a lot of friends that are kind of like that. And she was like, just go around the house and just say, you're welcome to stay here, but like, please don't scare me. Like, please, like, you're welcome here, but like, just no turning on the lights, like, no scaring my animals. And so I was like, you're welcome to stay. Just please be respectful. And then it stopped.
See, there you go.
So who
It
knows?
worked.
James is looking at me like I'm an idiot. But
But I believe in the
I
Force
mean,
today,
Princess
so
Leia.
I think
Princess Leia is looking at me like
I,
I'm an idiot.
the Force can do powerful things.
Yeah, but you never know. 1908, like that's old. Like even, and I obviously, like I had pulled up all of the history of this house through and through, and no one died, but you never know.
You never know.
You never
Just because
know.
it's not reported doesn't mean that just means someone didn't get caught.
Right, exactly, James. Anyways, so those are the fun things going on, but we hope you guys are having a great fall so far, and let's get into the some weird anything you want to say, James, before we get into it. Were there anything you needed to tell the peoples?
I got to go on a Star Wars rant. I feel pretty good.
You feel good. Okay. All right, so this is from the
Hold on,
History
yeah, I have
Channel.
one thing.
What?
Are we going to talk about Chandler Bing?
Oh, well, I didn't want to. Yeah, it's a little sad,
Was
but
that for later?
R.I.P.
Well, we're
Was there
talking
anything
about
else you wanted
spooky
to say
things. No, but
about
Friends
him?
was like he was hilarious.
I know. But you know what? That I saw that one thing that he had like written about in his book, which I might almost like now I kind of want to read his book.
I wonder if he did this to increase book sales. No, I'm kidding.
Oh
That's
my
horrible for me
God,
to say.
James.
No, but his book I heard was really good.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. And like he writes about how he's like, I really hope, that people will remember me more for what I did in Friends.
I'll
Rather,
always remember. Like,
but because he did so much with like he had his own rehab facility that he built, and it was like men long, it was like built for like long living facilities for men, and he's done a lot in that community in like the mental health and addiction.
well, so much more stuff about him has come out. Not news, but that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't know as much about that, but I've seen so many things coming out,
yeah,
and like how people did like him in Hollywood, and it seems like he wasn't a scumbag to women,
no,
and he wasn't.
yeah,
He was very
you really
helpful
didn't
with
hear any
people.
bad
Yeah,
stories about him, just unfortunately
the
that he
drugs.
just had struggles. Yeah,
Rather than being a sex addict, he was a drug addict. So,
we all got something, you know
but again, I will
but very
always
sad.
think of him as Chandler Bing.
I
He
know.
was
Well,
hilarious.
and you know what's like pretty horrible is that I never really watched Friends.
That's okay.
I just never really got into it. Like, I don't remember what I was watching over Friends, but like I was like more like Full House girl, and
You would have
and I
been
would have been
younger.
pretty young.
Yeah.
But I never like I don't even think I've watched a full episode of Friends.
Like we could watch some Friends. I think you would enjoy some of it actually. Some of it's
Someone
still
was
relevant to this day.
that's what a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, you haven't watched
No, no.
Friends. You got to watch every episode." I'm like, I don't know, that's a commitment, but we could
It
watch.
could carry over to this day. That's
It
about
could
it.
carry
Yeah.
over. Anyways, now let's get into some of the weird facts about Halloween. No, so whenever like I had heard about like the history of Halloween, a lot of it I remember like the Day of the Dead. Like Mexico, really South America celebrates a lot of the Day of the Dead.
Dia de Muerte?
Yes, James, there you go with your accents. But Halloween is rooted in a lot of ancient, is it Celtic? Celtic.
Celtic.
I was gonna say, am I saying that right? Celtic history.
Celtics is the Boston
Celtics.
Celtics.
I know. I
But it
read that as
is
Celtics.
they do say it wrong up there. It's supposed to be Celtic.
And it's have you heard this? Like it's with Celtic. It's more like Irish, Ireland Scottish communities that Irish Scottish communities. Oh my God, can I speak? That they really took a lot of like their traditions
I
from to
would have
build
got it
Halloween.
wrong. I would have said Britain, which Ireland and Scotland are in Britain, but I
Yeah,
probably would have
UK.
thought more England.
It's so Halloween, they say it's older than Christianity and its roots led back to the pagan celebration, the pre-Christian Celtic celebration of Samhain, which is summer's end, and it normally took place like the night of like October 31st into November 1st. And it was, believed that that's when the veil of the living and the dead was the thinnest at that time of year, and they would try to ward off ghosts and evil with bonfires, costumes, and masks to trick the spirits into moving on. So, which I thought was so interesting. I never had heard that. And so that's like where a lot of the background of like where October 31st comes from is that celebration. But turning up on your neighbor's doorsteps and asking for treats is also more of a UK, like kind of all over UK, Scotland, Ireland, UK. They called it either guising or goozing. It's Guising. And it would be like youngsters, like kids would go door to door trying to ask for money. Like it was almost kind of like a side job, of like they would go around the neighborhoods asking people for money and exchange. They would sing a song, do a rhyme, or do a trick.
Oh, got it.
A lot of times, people would give them food instead if they didn't have money. So that became like the treats.
Oh, interesting. That part I didn't know.
Right?
That's really cool.
I thought that was really interesting. And it is a lot with like Irish. Oh my God, can I?
Irish.
I know. Like, why do I keep saying Irish?
You're trying to say Ireland and
I
Irish.
know. I'm
So funny.
stupid. Irish folklore also lies behind the character of Jack O'Lantern, who, of course, we always think of like carving pumpkins, the creepy character of Jack O'Lantern. And this also goes back to an Irish myth. And there's a character, Stingy Jack, and he was like, supposedly like roam the earth at night, and he would use a carved out turnip that he would put coal and like make like this lighting coal contraption. And there was this myth that like this guy called Stingy Jack would roam the earth, and he had like made a deal with the devil to come back on earth. He had died and made this deal to come back, and he would roam the streets with this carved out turnip. But when Irish settlers arrived in the USA, they realized a pumpkin which was much easier for carving. So
That's
that
why they
became
went
the
to the
myth.
pumpkin.
So that's why they went to the pumpkin. Right? Fascinating. Also, Halloween masks too went back to the ancient Celts. Um, in the traditional celebrations, their Samhain celebrations, they would actually make masks from animal skins or other dead animals, and it was said it would ward off evil spirits. But it was really like America's love for Halloween was driven by immigrants, the Irish settlers who fled to America in the 1840s, and that was like really instrumental to like bringing Halloween
They
to the
brought us
USA.
Halloween and whiskey. Damn, I love them.
Right? And potatoes.
Oh, gotta love a potato.
doesn't love a potato? But of course, also it coincides with the traditional Day of the Dead, which is significant in Mexico and other Latin American countries. It's celebrated it's celebrated between October 31st and November 2nd, but it's more of like a mourning day, and
It's
it's more of like
well, isn't it the day that it's one day of the year that the spirits can come back?
that. Yeah, that goes more with the Irish settlers. This one, well, they say so. This is what they say. They say it's a day for families to celebrate and commemorate and mourn their dead. So like anyone who is dead. I think like the thinning of the veil was like from Irish.
Oh, well,
Maybe I don't know. Someone tell me. This is
I think that I would be the Irish could also include this, but my belief that in Hispanic culture, the Dia de Muerte is a day where they celebrate their family because that is the one day of the
that
year
they
that
are.
spirits can come back.
Yeah.
The Disney movie Coco or
Oh
whatever
yeah, they talk
talks
about
about
that.
that. That's what it
Yes,
is.
Coco is very
It's the
real.
one day where the
Yes.
spirits
Oh my
can come
god,
back.
Coco, what a great movie. Yeah, it doesn't, just this article in specific, but I'm sure that
That's my guess.
and it's got to come from somewhere too. It must be like a Christianity, like because it's like it is funny how both Latin America and Irish, Scottish, UK all believe the same thing of like October 31st, like so specific. Like there's got to be a reason why they picked that night as like the thinnest of the veil, like when the veil is the thinnest. Do you know what I mean?
We
Like it's
should look
just
into
too
that's a really
coincidental
great question
that they both like both communities are like we believe,
because so Ireland was in pagan times, which is
right?
good. That's before Christianity, right?
Yep.
Christmas is actually celebrated over a traditional pagan holiday as well. Christianity used to take over existing
Yes.
specific days, right?
Yes.
I do not know. And I know that I've heard stories that there was something around Halloween that maybe Christianity, but I don't know factually like the Christmas one.
Yep.
Maybe I don't I would guess that the Dia de Muerte is older than Christianity in Latin America. I would guess that, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like maybe it just is, I don't know. It's someone, if anyone knows. I was trying to look up
it
and
sounds
see.
like it's also related to other uh not just Latin America, but Native American ideas of spirits that stay around after because I know that their culture does believe and celebrate those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
So I just again now you brought me to a really interesting thing to think about. What is the significance of the 31st to the 2nd? And if it was the
Right.
31st for Ireland and if it was before
Christianity.
Christianity
Yeah.
came in and the other one was also before Christianity, how did they both pick that? That's a great question,
Right,
baby. That's smart. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so I don't so it, and it doesn't say why, but I mean, I'm sure I could do a little bit more
Now
research on it,
definitely
but
digging into that later tonight.
right?
If anyone knows, call in.
Yeah, let us know if anyone knows. Also, why they call it a bonfire is because it was originally a bone fire. They would actually have they would put animal bones into the flames to ward off evil spirits. So it was a bonfire, it was really a bone fire, and it turned to
Did
bonfire.
not have never heard that one. You are
So
just blowing me up with
right,
facts
that's what I
today.
was going through this. I'm like, I didn't really know
I did
any
not
of
know the bond
this.
and bonfire thing ever.
Um, Also, they had a weird fact that Keene, New Hampshire, holds the record for the most lit jack o' lanterns, and the only reason I bring that up is because, um, in college I went to UNH,
Yep.
and there's a Keene State College, which was like an hour away, and
Oh,
a
really?
lot of people they would like I can't remember. Okay, so they said the last record-winning number of lit lanterns was almost 31,000
Oh my
lit.
god, that is
Yeah,
a crazy
in
record.
like a small town in New Hampshire. 1,000 lit
31,000.
up pumpkins.
There's probably not even 31,000 people that live there.
No, literally. And they have multiple Guinness World Records for it. But it used to be the like third weekend, I think, in October that they would do
We
this.
should drive up there next year.
It is madness. And especially because the college like takes over the town, that it's like
Uh,
all college kids, like buses of people from UNH would go up to Keene.
you should do a spooky show up there next year.
I know it would be fun, but it's like it was such a madhouse, and like everyone would get wasted, and then everyone would like ruin it all. Like
Now I
kids
want to
would
go up
like,
there.
I know. It was crazy. So that was just another fun fact. But also of course the sweets, and candy, fun fact, didn't really happen until the 1950s. Before the 1950s, they would normally get like little toys or coins. But of course, brands behind chocolate like Hershey's realized the potential moneymaker for October, and now,
I love a good innovative story like that. It is
right?
smart. It is so smart.
So, yeah, so those are kind of like the Halloween fun facts. Kind of interesting,
Baby,
right?
those were really good.
I, you know, um I'm like really interested to figure out about the October 31st thing and whether like what that is, but I can't really find anything on it. But
I will be doing some deep dive on that.
yeah, but it will be yeah. Yeah. I'll be trying to look up that later. I don't know if maybe it just was like, I don't know. It was just like a known thing like when it
I have a theory.
yeah. Hold
I
on.
mean,
I'm going to look that up. You talk while I look.
it's probably related to astronomy.
Mm.
So there's I love studying cross-cultural psychology and looking at the distinct differences and the distinct similarities between cultures throughout the world, right? For instance, if you look at religion, they're all basically
Yeah.
the same,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
have a deity, all that stuff. And then if you look at things like this, there are certain times of year that cultures that would have probably never interacted with each other, in ancient times,
Yeah.
have a lot of these similar things around similar dates. And it's just very interesting that they do.
So it is in Celtic mythology. They said the veil was depicted as walls of mist that would lower our five senses, or would increase our five senses during that time. Um, it would represent a shield that makes it difficult, would be less difficult for spirits to cross into our realm. But it just says it was a Celtic thing, and it was the ancient Celts believed that on October 31st, and it was this Samhain celebration. So I don't know if it's just, and they said it was from like mid September to the start of November. So it just like became October 31st was like the day of Halloween, but it was a pagan. It says it was a pagan tradition. That's all I can find. So I don't know if like it started first and then it became the Day of the Dead or what, like if that kind of just crossed over.
Oh boy, I hope this is a reputable source, but this is pretty good. When did the Mexican Day of the Dead start? Day
Yeah.
of the Dead combines the ancient Aztec custom of celebrating ancestors
Yeah.
with All Souls Day, a holiday that Spanish invaders brought to Mexico. So now we have Spain and
Oh.
Ireland connected on this.
Yeah.
So I think that we'll
Yeah,
have to
maybe
explore
they
that angle a little
huh.
more. Invaders brought to Mexico starting in the early 1500s. The holiday, which is celebrated mostly in Mexico on November 1st and 2nd, is like a family reunion, except
Yeah.
dead ancestors are the guest of
Oh,
honor.
there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it was just like they combined efforts type of thing maybe. I don't know. Anyways, if you guys let us know. If you guys know, let us know. But anyways, Joms, it's time. It is time for secret, 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 secret.
I like that you roll your R's on that a little bit.
Secrets, right?
Secrets.
Secrets. And we also have some return voicemails. Um, this first voicemail that I'm gonna play, which before I get into it, I should say, if you have a secret voicemail or a weird voicemail or something weird that you've done, a weird story, call us in anonymously at
SpeakPipe.
that's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. And again, it's always anonymous. It's up to like a minute 30 seconds so you can leave. And it's super easy to do. I'll put the link in the show of the podcast, also in the YouTube. So you can easily click on it or just go to speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Okay, so this first voicemail, this sex education teacher is really just giving us the content that we need, but she had another follow up because last episode she had called in again and it was telling us a little bit about our haunted classroom, and we were like, what is the history of this like your school? Like, it obviously sounds like it's super haunted. What is like the history of it? So she gives us a little information. Are you ready, James?
I'm so excited for the follow-up.
Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, it's that sex ed teacher calling up with another follow up as to my classroom being haunted. And it took a lot of digging to find anything. Like, nobody would answer my questions. But what I did find was a college dissertation about this location and what our building used to be. And it used to be an insane asylum before it was a school. And at this asylum, somebody ended up hanging themselves, which is now my classroom. Another odd coincidence that was mentioned in it is where the school is located is in the middle of 3 haunted running trails. So I don't know if this is low key a ghostly meetup place, but anyways, I was teaching class and the student mentioned the ghost, we'll call him Ken again, and was like, hey, Ken wants to be part of our lesson. I had a million things going on, and I was like, sure, if Ken wants to hop in, go for it, Ken. Let's make some skeletons. And nothing happened. All was peaceful and quiet. And regarding the student I mentioned last week who asked a cop to handcuff her and call her daddy, she was like the Regina George of 5th grade. She had quite the mouth and quite the attitude. But one time, we had someone come to volunteer and teach a lesson, and he was being pretty bossy and was wearing like a wolf t-shirt, and he asked her to do something, and she looks him up and down and goes, oh, I know your wolf wearing t-shirt ass is not going to tell me what to do. And honestly, I had to cover my mouth because I found it hilarious.
Kids are wild. Kids are wild. But that is crazy about the haunted. I can't believe that like they would have an insane asylum and be like, you know what? This would be great for a school.
Can we take a moment? We're gonna.
Yeah, I know. Literally, you are the gift that keeps on giving with the content and the stories.
But she like dug it up and found a college.
I know, and that's like
dissertation.
you are after my own heart because that's like exactly what I would do. Like, how could you not be like, what is going on in this place?
That's amazing.
And that's so creepy. I can't believe it. I'm like really curious where this is now. Can we come visit you? That is a like I don't know if I could like that would be hard to like go to school every day, like knowing the history.
Regina George, that's Mean Girls, right?
Yes, good job, James.
Not bad.
Good job, James. But thank you so much for calling back. You are an
Perfect
amazing
for Halloween.
Yeah, and perfect for Halloween.
Needed to know about that for Halloween.
And just, I mean, God bless the teachers. Like what you guys put up with. These kids are next level. So thank you so much. We've got a couple good spooky ones this week, of course. I kind of had saved up some of the spooky stories you guys had called in. I had saved up a little bit for this episode. So, James, are you ready for the next spooky story?
Prepared.
Here we go.
Hey, Sam and James. So, a little spooky story for the Halloween season. My sister has always been a big reader, and when she was 9 or 10, she was reading a book about souls in purgatory. Not quite sure, a bit of light reading, but she then started seeing people, like when she would turn the corner in our house, and it only started after she started reading the book. She told my mom that it was scaring her, and my mom simply suggested that she stop reading the book. And as soon as she put the book down, she stopped seeing the people. So now I am trying to convince her to start reading the book again because I just want to see if some souls will come back and try and, visit her from purgatory. Not sure. Some Sixth Sense shit. So, all right. Love you guys. Bye.
So we've talked about this before too, and this has always been like a theory that like when you believe in it, and the more you believe and like think about it, obviously, spirits will see that and be attached to that. And that's, like the same reason too that like we weren't allowed to have Ouija boards in my house.
Yep.
Like I remember one time one of my friends brought over a Ouija board, and my parents found out about it, and I was like grounded, and that person like literally was not allowed back in my house.
Wow. I don't know if I've heard that one.
Well, because he still is, but my dad was more religious when we were growing up.
Okay.
And he it was just like really like that was like devil worship.
Yeah.
You know, like that was like, and like bringing spirits into the house.
Yep.
And my parents were like, never, ever, ever again. Like, even, do you remember doing that thing where you'd say Bloody Mary in the mirror
Yes.
3 times or whatever, and then something would be? My mom, one of my friends, and me were going into the bathroom in our house and doing that, and my mom whips open the door and is like, "Don't you do that!" and like freaked out at us for doing it.
Really?
Yeah. I'll never forget that girl, Leah Rice. If you're out there,
Thank you, Leah Rice.
thank you, Leah Rice.
Thank you for your service.
She was also, really into like the spirit stuff, and like we should always want to do a bunch of weird shit.
Do you think that the age she said she was 9, that stuck with me when she said her sister was 9 when she was reading this?
Did she say 9?
I thought so.
Oh, I didn't hear the 9. I thought she was a little bit older, but
I hope
9,
the spirit didn't just put that in my head, but I'm pretty sure I heard 9.
9 is like, yeah, very young age to be reading books about purgatory.
I would have read stuff like that at 9.
Okay, well, you're a freak.
Yep.
But yeah, 9 is a very early age to read about that. But I am,
Didn't she say 9?
I don't know. Maybe she did, and I just wasn't really paying attention.
I think maybe I misheard it, but I thought that was kind of important to the story, because when you had your experience, you were younger than that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
kids are
always more
much more
susceptible to that.
impressionable because they don't have, like you say, if people believe in it, like maybe the reason I haven't seen anything is because
Right?
I won't believe it till I see it. It's like proof, right?
Yeah.
However, I strongly believe in other people's experiences, and
Yep.
if people have had those experiences, awesome.
Yeah.
But I do think that and it's funny that when she stopped reading, they kind of went away.
Right.
Then the question is it because she believed in them because of reading the book? Or did her
Right.
brain create a young mind that's impressionable create something because she was reading the book?
Right.
There's the question.
Right. So, anyways, very interesting. And that always is, it's a debate. It's like, the more you read about it and think about it and, really put energy towards it, it'll come back. It will come back. But thank you so much. Keep us posted if she starts reading again. Let us know if anything happens. All right. You ready for the next one?
Prepared.
Here we go.
Loving the spooky content. Sadly, we don't celebrate Halloween in Australia, but I love Halloween, so I'm loving it. And I've got one for you. When I was about 15, 16, my mum and I were going for a walk in this pretty well-known park in Sydney, and I needed to go to the loo, so we went to go to this toilet block. My mum waited outside, and I went in, locked the door as per usual, did the deed, and then I went to unlock the door to get out, and suddenly, for some reason, I couldn't open the lock. There was, I don't know why, something was stuck. I yelled out to my mum, and she came in, and we couldn't figure it out. Like there was no rust, there was just no rhyme or reason. She said, "Oh well, I'll go get a ranger to help." So she went off to get a park ranger to help, and I just sort of sat there and waited. And then all of a sudden, the door just slowly opened, and I have no memory as to like the lock being turned or anything, but it just slowly creaked open, and I was free. And to this day, no idea how that happened. Walked out, saw my mum in the distance, sort of walking back with the ranger. Really freaky, really weird. And it was when I decided that life is just weird and full of things that we cannot explain. And yeah.
That's creepy.
Great story.
Yeah, that's a great story. That is always my number one fear when going like in any public place to go to a restroom is the door locking at me.
You do get claustrophobic. You've often
I get
said that.
so claustrophobic, and it's happened to me like a couple of times where like either the door is just like an old door or it's like it gets stuck. And it's like normally time, it's like you're in a basement or you're in someplace you don't have reception, you like didn't have your phone, and I'm like, I'm gonna be fucking stuck here forever.
Didn't that happen to you in Spain? Weren't we at one of the restaurants and like it got locked?
Oh my god, I was in a basement.
You came
in a restaurant. We went to a restaurant and the bathroom was in a basement. And I don't think I brought my phone. I didn't bring my bag, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go pee really quick. And I went in there, and I just it was stupid of like I was just opening it the wrong way or something, or like it either got stuck, and I was probably down there for like 10
I
minutes.
was like, because you came up, and I just thought you pooped, and you had like this white
Yeah,
look
I
in your eye.
literally was like,
"You
I just
okay?"
thought I almost got like locked myself. I mean, eventually someone would have had to come down there and or you guys would have been like, where the
Well,
fuck
of
is Sam?
course, a lot of those, like just like
An
the
older
electrical
building.
plugs.
Yeah.
It's an older building that has a really weird door that you've never seen before.
Yeah, and I just like could not figure out how to open it, and I was even like banging on it at one point. I thought I heard someone out there, and I was like, maybe someone just needs to like help me because it was
Or a ghost locked
or
you
it was
in
a
there.
ghost.
Because that's the thing I took from that call is, as it's portrayed more in the movies, but there's some truth to all myths out there,
Yeah.
right? Ghosts seem to do mess with doors and
Yeah.
windows.
Yep.
In other words, they might not be able to affect the person, but they can affect the enclosure, the room.
Yes. Yeah, and there always in a scary movie, there's always someone who's like gets locked in a
It gets
closet.
locked in
Or
something
like
or knocked
a
down
small
something.
room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I feel you on that, and I would have been freaking out. And again, a lot of it is too just because I'm so claustrophobic, like being in a small room, like I will have a panic attack. So we do have one more. We have bonus.
Bonus secret.
Voicemail.
I was not told about this.
Yes, bonus, because we had a couple good spooky ones, and I wasn't sure which ones to use, and I know a lot of people called in, so I was trying to put all of them in here this month just for the spooky content. But are you ready for the last voicemail,
Oh,
James?
I can't wait. I'm
Here
so
we go.
excited.
Hey, Sam and James. So this is the Navy nurse again. Just wanted to share a couple stories that I thought about while I'm on my way to work towards that creepy hospital. One of the big ones is that one of my coworkers, he would walk around at night on this ward and shut all the doors of the empty rooms. Because usually we only have like a couple patients at a time. And he said that every single time he would do that, he'd walk around again and all the doors would be open again. And there's literally nobody who would be doing this. And then another story is that the auditorium allegedly is haunted. People say if you go there in the middle of the night and you go upstairs through the spiral staircase, that you'll hear music playing. I've heard a few people say that they've experienced this. I don't fucking know if they're lying. Who knows? But yeah, so there's a couple stories. If I think of any more, I'm more than happy to share them. But please feel free to share these in your own words because this voicemail is obviously very scatterbrained. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for sharing my story again.
Doors. Opening and closing.
Doors. And also, we always hear a lot about music too. Music always plays a big.
Well, then I thought about the other one is lights. You already mentioned that about our basement.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Lights. I know. I always feel like that's like the entry, like the gateway to like a haunt. Like if you're gonna get like if the ghost is like playing with you, it's like doors, messing with doors, music, lights. Well, a lot of times, they always say the five senses. So a lot of times too, like you smell, like someone who passed away who loves smoking cigars. Like sometimes you'll smell a faint smell of cigar smoke. And temperature. Like you feel a lot of times it gets really cold. So, but it's all just very interesting. And obviously, if you do still have a spooky story, we do like to sprinkle them in because I just love the spooky stories.
Yeah, don't stop with the spooky stories. This is
Yeah.
just kicking them off.
Yeah. So feel free to send us in any of your spooky stories, something weird that's happened to you, anything weird you've done. You guys know we have a breadth of different voicemails that have called in. So if you want to call in, you can go to SpeakPipe. That's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Again, it's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. And that'll do it for the Halloween episode. We are going to be obviously posting about our costumes later, but you guys get the sneak peek to our costumes. And we hope you guys have a very healthy, happy Halloween. Hope the kids, if you have any kids, they're nice and happy and healthy and have a good time trick-or-treating.
And I hope, you know what? And it's something Sam loves. She's so genuine about this. Sam actually loves handing out candy on Halloween.
No, I really do.
She
It's one of my
genuinely
favorite
does.
things. If
I
you
hope
know
all
where
of
I
you
live,
get to do
come
it
to
too.
my
It does.
house.
It makes the kids happy. It's so much fun.
If
We
you
have
come
fun
to
with it.
if you live in Stanford, come to our find out where I live. No,
You
I'm
want a
just kidding.
spoiler alert on something?
What?
Back to the crossing over of the dates between
Yeah.
cultures.
Yeah.
It has something to do with something I just love to talk about.
What?
Spoiler alert.
What?
The Roman Empire's involved.
The Romans.
Oh my God!
They're
I can't
always
wait to look.
involved.
That's why I can't stop thinking about them.
They literally have their hands and everything. Their little
Roman Empire's
Roman
involved.
greasy hands.
Well, it's the Catholic Church, Roman Empire,
Yeah, right.
that sort of connection.
So why do they? What do they have to do?
I didn't
with
look up everything on it,
but there was
but
a hint
I
of
just
Roman
given a
Empire.
little
It
bit.
always comes
Getting
back
some Roman Empire vibes
to the Roman Empire.
I know.
All roads lead to Rome, as they say.
As they say.
As in Rome.
When
Do
in
as the
Rome.
Romans. When in Rome. Whatever. Anyways, so we love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. And we just love doing this with you guys. And we're so happy you're here. So thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you, and also with you. Bye, weirdos. Love ya. See you next time.
Love you, weirdos.